If you're not an electrician or don't feel comfortable working with electricity, maybe you should call a professional. So, I don't have a stand for my phone, so I'm showing you after I already took off the ceiling fan. And you see this ball right here? That's how the ceiling fan was on. So basically, the ball went into here, and see there's a groove. If you can see the groove, and there's a groove in the ball that you kind of spin it and it locks into place. But you just put the ball in like that, and then that's what I just did. I just took the fan off, but I couldn't hold the fan and the phone at the same time. So basically, this guy wired in the ground. He had, I guess he was one of them electricians that have everything in their van. So he kind of wired the ground in, and I think that's a good idea. But you can also, you know, pigtail a wire off of this and then have all the grounds together, you know what I mean? And I did that in another video, so you should watch it. It's a pendant light, and that's what I did for the ground. So in this case, I'm just gonna, because the ceiling fan's gonna have the same thing, so I'm just gonna put them all on there like that. It saves time, but it's also a waste of money for him. But I guess if he's spending more time doing that, going to his van, and but see how the whites are together. I guess this powers more than just this light. So, and then all the blacks are together up here, and they pigtailed the black from all the blacks. But I don't know why they didn't pigtail a white and just stuck all the whites up there and just had, you know. But anyway, people do different things. You know, I guess they just come to a conclusion and just hack it up real quick. But I'm gonna take all this down, take these screws out, and I'm pretty sure the other fan is the same thing. And these ones that have this are easy, because if you wire a remote to it, you know, you can just stick the remote in here and then put the cap on if there's not a lot of wires. So anyway, I did it for a customer that didn't have a remote, and she did it. So, and I'll show you how to hook it up, because the fans come with a blue wire and a black wire, and that's for separate switches, but you can hook the blue wire and the black wire. The blue wire is for the light and the black wire is for the fan, and you can hook them both up to the black. So they both have power. You know, and each fan has like a clicking chain, so that's what's going to power it. So I have this ceiling fan here, and it's a Harbor Breeze. Is this one, Harbor Breeze. You know, in case anyone likes this particular brand. And it's nice, it's basic. It's the same thing as all the other ones. You know, you have the two holes here. You put it up, click it, and then you put the other two screws in. And yeah, same thing. So I'm gonna run the wires through this, take this piece off, run the wires through this so it comes out the top. But before I do that, I want to put this on. Like that, I'm gonna put this on like this through here, and then that's gonna be on, and then I'm gonna run the wire through this, and I'll show you. And it's still a basic thing. See the little knot? In this case, it has knots in all four angles, just so you can like position it how you want to. Some of them don't have that like this, but the newer ones do. Harbor Breeze has been doing it for a while, and it's really nice. Pretty basic. It's just different style. But let me put it up, you know, put this together, and I'll show you bit by bit. So I did what I said, and I ran the wires through this. So you want to make sure this is up like that and the ball's inside, because you're going to put the cap up, right? You're going to slip the ball over the hole that I showed you up there, and you're gonna lock it in place, and then this is gonna be resting at the bottom. You know, that's gonna cover this. So what I did was I retracted these screws because this pole won't go in here with the screws. And this is kind of extra support, but see how the hole goes in here. So you're gonna put that in after you set it up like this. They're all basically the same, have the same piece. This is different. And maybe sometimes this is different, but then see, you see the hole? So you're gonna put the hole in here so you see the hole. And then you're gonna feed the nut, the bolt through, and then you're gonna lock it with this. And then you're gonna screw these to kind of make it tight. So that's what I did right here. Fed that through the pole. So it went through the black piece and then through the pole, and it came out this side. I put the locking pin, and then you kind of hold it straight up, and then you kind of tighten these down, and it's like, it's really tight. So that's why you put this like this, so this will cover that, and then this falls down, and then you can wire it up. You know, you don't have much room to work with, but you wire it up, and then you put it up here, and the screws on the side, you see, that's what's like that, and it goes. So I'll show you that. And then you have this, and you put the wings on last, you know, while it's up there like this, and then you put the wings on, because everything's going to be in the way, and it's going to be a pain in the butt. But I'll show you how to do that. And so let me get up there. I'll cut these wires a little bit shorter, so I'm not messing with, or maybe I'll just keep them long and I'll just put them in there, you know, just in case she gets a, I don't know, a longer pole, or she does something else with the fan, puts it in a hallway or something with a drop ceiling, you know. And then I'll put the wings together. Yeah, so let me get to it. So now that I'm looking at this, I cut that piece off the ring, and now I'm seeing a ring here. So anyway, but this is already like that, so I just cut the piece off and I wired everything together. It was no big deal. But see, the white with the white and the blue and the black, this is light, and I say it right here, and this is fan. So they both get hooked up to the power. If you use a remote, it will have white, green, and black. And then on the other end, it'll have a blue wire to go with the blue wire, and a black wire to go with the black wire, and a white wire to go with the white wire. But in this case, there wasn't no remote. Some of them come with a remote, so you can check that option out if you buy this. The remote is nice, you know, you have the switch, and you can just mount the remote right next to the switch. And you know, one time I did that, I hooked it up with continuous power to a plug, and I just used the remote, you know. But if you're not comfortable with dealing with electric and you don't think you can hook it up right, don't do the work. So here's that. And the black and the blue, everything's hooked up right. The white, the black and the blue with the black power, and then the greens are all hooked up, you know. So I'm gonna keep this like this, and I'm just gonna wrap it around here, and I'll show you that, and then I'll pop that up, and that will be done. Then I'll put the wings on, and yeah, I'll show you what I do with the wires. So I'll just take a picture of it and post it up. Okay, so I was in a zone when I was doing these, but it's not really hard. It's just complicated. So first things first, before you put the wings on, you have to make sure how these go on like this, because this is a little confusing. So you want to make sure that these go on like that. That's how they go on. And she wanted the gray to show, not this side. She wanted this side. So, because I was going to put it on this side thinking that they went on like this. But, you know, sometimes I've done it. And I'm not the stupidest person in the world. And I've done it. and it happens. So you have to make sure you put this on, like plane it out, and then you see, that way what you want is on the bottom. You know, don't get yourself confused. So actually now I'm gonna take all these screws out and see where the tape is. That's where the first one's gonna go. This is where the second one's gonna go. But I'm gonna take all those screws out. And before you put this part on, the light fixture part on, you wanna put the wings on. So don't get confused and put everything together and think nothing's gonna be in the way of you putting them screws together. So that's the next step, is that, and then the wings. Make sure you do it right. Take all the screws out and then screw it back up. And then I'll show you the finished product, and it's just, after that, it's plug and play, you know. You'll see what them screws do right here, what these screws do right here in a minute. Let me work this out and then I'll continue. So what we got here is a missing screw. So I don't know if I should just take one of the screws off this hole right here, the slide hole. And that's what I might do, and put it in this solid hole, just so when the fan's on, it doesn't wiggle loose, and you know what I mean? So I might just take one of these screws off. But for the purpose of right now's sake, you just put it up. Just put it up, line the screws up right here, right there, and just slide it. You know, you get the idea. Slide it, tighten this down, and I'm gonna take this screw out and put it in this hole. Since there's no screw, that way it's more solid than, yeah, I don't want it to slide loose, because this slides on, it can slide off, you know. So no matter how tight it is, it might wiggle loose. And then the same goes for the light fixture. You know, you undo these, undo this, and you have slide holes, you know. And this has an actual, it's on there, you know, all 3 screws. And then on top of that, see, this light fixture here has a lip. So it has the bolts that you kind of screw on, and then that's the lip. And then let me just pop everything together, you know, and I'll show you the finished product. An update on what I did was I took this screw out because I didn't want it to slide off, and I put it here since it didn't have a screw, and I tightened that down. So what I did now is I'm gonna plug the light up. I'm gonna do the same thing here. Well, see this hole, I have to take one of these screws out. So I'll take that screw out and I'm gonna plug it in, and then do the same thing that I did with this. Put it up, slide it, tighten it. See, it's gonna be like that after all said and done. And then we're gonna put the dome on and tighten that. Careful not to tighten these too tight, because you're gonna crack the glass. I'm sorry. So I'll take a picture of the finished product, and maybe I'll just like let you see everything done with the light bulbs in and everything. And then I'm gonna put these on, and I mean, you should know these chains are the oldest thing ever. You should know how to fix them, but I'll show you. So here's the final product. Everything's in. To determine which the light is, and the fan, that's the light, so I'm gonna put it in.